Hello, this is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. I'm back here today with another project for you, and today we're going to make this lovely little card. I've been thinking that I haven't used a lot of my stamp sets, so I decided to go through alphabetically and start using some of them, and I came across Balloon Celebration. Now it's a bit of nonsense really, because although I grabbed the Balloon Celebration stamp set, this card actually doesn't use any of the Balloon Celebration stamp set, but it did remind me to use my balloon bouquet punch, which is what I've used on this card. Fortunately, that's going to be carrying on into the new catalogue, so I'm really pleased about that, because I love that balloon punch and I love the stamp set as well, and that's carrying over as well. So expect to see lots more projects using those products, but for today we're going to make this one, which is a trio of balloons with a happy birthday message. So how do we make it? Let's put that to one side. I'm going to bring in my trusty old Stampin' Up trimmer, which I love to use because it's just so efficient and so easy to use. And we're going to start off with a card blank, which is our thick Whisper White cardstock. And our card blank measures 15 centimetres by 21 centimetres, and we're going to score in the middle at 10.5. If you're in inches, that means it's 6 inches by 8.25 inches, and we're going to score at 4 1/8. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and I'm going to score at 10.5 centimetres. I'm afraid I work in centimetres when I'm working, but I know a lot of you viewers probably work in inches, which is why I always give both lots of measurements. That's my scoring blade. So I've just scored that card blank, and I'll just use my bone folder just to give that a nice crease. And there we've got our card blank. We then need a piece of Petal Passion Designer Series paper, and we're going to use this one, which is the spotty one. It's got a lovely pattern on, lovely leaves on the other side. I really like this paper. This is going to be retiring at the end of the catalogue though, so if you like this paper, do get a pack before it retires. And we need a piece of Petal Passion DSP that is 12.5 by 8.5 centimetres, or 5 by 3 3/8 inches. Again, I'm going to work in centimetres, so I'm going to do 12.5. Oh no, actually I'm going to do 8.5 this way. I'm going to do 8.5 there, and that bit's there, and 12.5 this way, and that's my panel. That's the pack. I can put my board away because I don't need that anymore, my trimmer. Okay, so that's that panel. Now, although I made this one in blues and turquoises, I'm going to make this one in pink. So I've got a panel which I've already mounted, which is a piece of Whisper White on a piece of Melon Mambo, and the measurements for those are, the pink piece is 6.5 centimetres by 11, or 2.5 inches by 4 3/8 inches, and the white panel is 10.5 centimetres by 6, or 4 1/8 by 2 1/8 inches. Okay, so what we can do is we can mount the Petal Passion Designer Series paper onto our card blank, and here comes my trusty old Tombow glue to do that. Glad to see this is still in the catalogue as well. My favouriteest ever glue, just love it. There we go. And just remember, if you don't have a copy of the current catalogue, let me know if you'd like one. Likewise, if you'd like a copy of the new one when it comes out, I'll be sending out copies in probably mid-May. So if you'd like to be on my list of people that receives a catalogue, please let me know. And this panel is going to go on there, but first we're going to do some work on it before we put it on there. So first of all, we're going to draw the lines for the balloons, okay, and these are going to be drawn at right, the spacing at the bottom here is 1 centimetre, 2.1 centimetres, and 5 centimetres. They're not quite equidistant, it makes it just a little bit more interesting. And then at the top here, this one is the first one is 7 centimetres away from bottom of the panel. This one is 5.5 centimeters away from the top of the panel, and this one is 6.5 centimeters away from the top panel. So then when we've got all our markings on there, I'm going to come in with my marker pen. This is my basic black Stampin' Right marker. I'm going to use the narrow point, and I am going to draw the lines in. I'm using a ruler because I want these to be nice and straight. I know sometimes balloons have wiggly strings, and if you wanted to do wiggly strings you could, but I like that on this one I like them to be straight because I think it just adds a bit of impact. There we go, and there we go. That's that done. We're going to leave that for the moment. We now need, before we still mount this on here, we need to do the happy birthday. So I'm coming in with a piece of basic black card. I'm going to come in with my embossing powder, my embossing buddy, which is just a pouch of very, very fine powder, which will just take any static or any sticky where I've put my fingers or anything and stop the embossing powder sticking to that bit. So I'm just doing the bottom of the card there with my embossing buddy, which will just make sure that I get a nice clean image without lots of specks. And then I need my Versamark pad, and the this happy birthday greeting is from the Big on Birthdays set, which is another one that's going to be retiring, sadly. I've used this one up here so much, and I've also used this one. I've used the others a bit. So sad that those are going to be retiring. And then I'm going to put this on here because I'm going to trim it down in a minute. So I'll put it there. Then I'm going to bring my white embossing powder in. I'm hoping it didn't look like I'd inked it very well. Might have to have a second go at this. Let's find a piece of paper to use to tip the embossing powder onto. Should have got a piece ready before I start. Oh, that's all right. There we go. Can you see? That's come up quite nicely. Yep, I'm just going to tip this powder into the tub, back into the tub, before I make a mess and get it everywhere. This is too big, this piece of paper, really. I should have had a piece ready. I just grab this out of the bin. There we go. Put that back in there. Put that back in the bin. There we go. And then I'm going to bring my heat gun in and just heat that. I really like this effect of white writing on black. I really think it looks very effective, very professional. And you can see, I don't know whether you can see there, the powder just beginning to melt and giving us that lovely raised embossed image. Really nice. There we go. And then I'm going to bring my trimmer back in, and I'm just going to trim this down. So about there. That's the scoring blade. I don't need that one. Let's see where that is. There we go. I think that will be fine. There we go. And then I'm just going to push it through a little bit further and come again with my cutting blade. There we go. That's my happy birthday. Again, the trimmer can go away, and that is going to go over the bottom here like this, so centralized. So I'm going to trim off a little bit of it like so, and then I'm going to come in with my Tombow on the back here. And the reason I do this first is because I want to be able to trim it against the panel. So I'm going to mount this here, try and centralize it, center it. There we go. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and snip off those overhanging edges, and then I get a really flush finish. Get rid of all those bits. There we go. So my panel's now ready to mount onto this panel. Got embossing powder all over here. So I'm going to take my Tombow again and mount my panel. Like so. On there. And then we just need to do our balloons. See how easy this is? Just a little tiny bit of stamping on the message there that we did. There we go. And the colours that I've chosen to do the balloons, like I said, I'm going with pink. So I've got Melon Mambo, I've got Berry Burst, and I've got Flirty Flamingo. So I'm going to take my balloon punch, which actually punches out 2 balloons, but I only want the smaller one. So I can just position my card in there, so I don't waste any card. I can just position it in the corner and just punch out one. And another one. Berry Burst. And another one in Flirty Flamingo. There we go. So those are my 3 balloons. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick, if I bring my other one in, you can see how I've done it here. This one was stuck direct to the card. I've actually done that line further over than I did on the other one, but I don't think it really matters. So that one goes on there, and we've got the string there to give us an indication of where it needs to go. And then we need a dimensional on each of those other balloons. I'll bring my dimensionals in, and there we go. There and there. We'll put this one to the right, I think, to the left actually, to the left. So I'll put him there, and then I've got this one which is going to go there, actually up a bit, going to go up there, and that one's going to be on dimensionals as well. Right, and then all I've got to do is draw in the bows on the strings and a little bit of chalk marker to do the highlighting on the balloons. So I hope you like my card. I thought it was quite sweet. I haven't quite positioned these balloons as I'd want them actually. That line needed to be further over, but anyway, that works. I think that works quite nicely. So I'm just going to take my marker again and draw the little bows in there. So I just did it freehand like so. I might do that one over top of that balloon because it's there, and a little bit of line through there, line through there, and then a bow at the bottom here, and a line through there, and a bow holding it together. There we go. So that's there, and then I'm going to bring my chalk marker in, and I'm just going to do a little highlight where the light is reflecting on that one and on that one, and it's done. Hope you like my card today. Yep, 2 lovely little cards with balloons on. Hope you like those. Okay, and I shall see you next time. Bye for now. Bye.